not like it was your fathers first got the property. If you were able to keep that all the way till now, then yeah, a lot of us sold off the land. My family's from down south. We that people sold off pieces of the land and titles clouded. That is a organic jurisdiction. It's a different type of law down south, southeast. So look that up, especially in your commonwealths. The way that they form the governments in the states out there is different. You can get a land patent if you have property, but that doesn't mean that nobody can't come take it. The government can basically do what they want. Like the brother said, it's one sovereign.
And I'm actually, and I have, say it's 8 or it's like 4 or 5 that asked for it, but they need some more time to look for them. I'm in the process of doing it in Wisconsin.
Is the land encumbered? Does it have a lien on it? It's
They got more. The liens active because all of them have been specific, period of time. So typically you only have a lien for days.
It's so better than a deed if you can do it. It has to be free and clear of any controversy at all.
All right, like
that's the reason why the time they do have any issues, they can address that.
Yeah, you're talking about the quiet title.
You have supposed in the paper. States requirements are Wisconsin, you have to do 2 periods. I can't but you have to do 2 periods and you don't do like let's say you wait and you put it back in there, you do that. That's when you get that. That's when the land patent.
Yeah, and that's just a claim. So if somebody has a lien on there and they can prove before you did that process, then yeah, you're in for an uphill battle. That's just being honest. I tried that process.
But that's the paper though.
It doesn't matter. You're just making a claim. It doesn't matter. See, a lot of this stuff. This is some of the old processes. You're just making a claim. If they're first in line, first in time. If the property is already leaned up, then and there you get the court. If they have a valid claim and it was yours, it's a wrap. You're going to waste a whole bunch of money.
If they had a decent lien on there, yeah, in that case, then yes, you're correct. If it's a normal lien, it's gonna 21 days. It's just gonna go away on their end. It's gonna go. But I see exactly where somebody's got a $2 million lien. You're gonna have to satisfy that in order.
There you go. I just want to make sure people understand that, because what happens is sometimes this stuff gets lost in the background, all of this trading and people buying portfolios, and they're going to come and challenge that. So if you somehow get a claim put in, because that's all you're doing, eventually you'll have to that title. You need everybody's title. You can put it inside of a land patent or anything like that. Otherwise, you're just putting in a claim. Not saying it's not a valid claim or you can't do it. Good strategy to try and get some real estate. People fall asleep, but that's not a process to where that own it like they tell you to, and nobody can tax you or come take the property. Not even the government. That got issued one time, and they fixed that like way back in like the early 1900s. Got on to that. Some research on it, you'll see what I'm saying. Go read some of the case summaries in the case law and how they're deciding this stuff in court.
Very good.
Yeah, let me. I like the answers. I think I learned a little bit. But
So by land pattern, you mean, well, what you were saying last, Tobias, you were saying that technically that in order to make the land pattern, they need to also have the title for that land.
The land patent is a form of a title. It's just like I was saying, when they say allodial title, it's that a land patent. A patent is synonymous with that. Depends on your jurisdiction. But what I'm saying is that when they first issued the property, they did actually give out like what they call quote unquote the 40 acres and a mule to people who knew how to get it. A lot of that land got sold off and is now encumbered in some way, shape, or form. So they have a claim now. The United States cut that off so they can, control the resources. Like the gentleman said, it's one sovereign. So they actually and if you have the original land patent from when they first issued it to you, I got one in here from my great grandfather. The oil, the air rights, the mineral rights, all of that stuff was all yours. They cut all of that out. So it kind of died out over time as people sold property off and, they stole property, et cetera, et cetera. But you can still do it. It is a better form of a deed, per se, for your property if you do own it outright. But it's not the same as how they teach it. They're teaching it off the old system. The new system, you don't own the mineral rights. You don't own the air rights. The United States owns all of that, period. You just got title to the land, and it's a little bit more secure. That's it. But it's not how they teach that you can use an allodial title to stop the taxes and all of that. You still got to pay your taxes. It's just more of a secure title.
Got it. So you're saying the allodial back then, which will also cover like ownership of the mineral or the soil, if we would just want to round it up.
Yeah.
It's not the same now. The soil is still owned by the state or the nation.
Yeah, it doesn't make this. It doesn't have that same force and effect like it did, unless you were able to pass that title down through your family without it being unencumbered, so that people sold off a lot of that property as the years went on. 3-4 generations ago. Should have kept it, but we didn't know.
All right, let me
Detailed explanation.
Let me break in real quick.
The question was directed though, just so I could get kind of some kind of answer. The question I was asking, it was technically saying, the legal title, let's say to a birth certificate, and then you have your equitable title. So when you're creating can you operate in the allodial title? So technically, can you operate mixing the private and the public together? And would that be like creating an estate? Would that be where the estate comes in?
Let me interject real quick. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I got to welcome Knowledgeville Knowledgeville Media YouTube. I want to make sure that they are able to hear the conversation. Our last setup kind of fell through on us. So if you can let us know that Knowledgeville Media YouTube chat, can you hear the TikTok conversation? Or did you hear it while it was going on, I should say?
Yes, we could hear it. It's obviously a lot lower than you, but we could hear it.
Okay. So try to give it a little bit more gain. I don't want to blow everybody out here, but all right. So
it was a comfortable level to listen to, though. It wasn't like I had to turn the headphones up super loud, not like last week. So it was pretty good.
All right. Okay, so welcome everybody. It is November the 17th, 2024. We've already hit the ground running. I did not do an intro or anything like that. So I'm assuming everybody on TikTok can hear me well. We got good audio and video. And welcome to our YouTube platform as well. I assume that you can hear me based on what BB Productions has said. With that being said, I just put up a generic topic, Wealth 2.0, I think I called it. We had attempted to upload the TikTok app to our desktop, and we found out that you can't in fact, have a panel until you get like 10K or something, viewers or followers or something to that effect. So it's like you have to start almost all over again. That's a pain in the rear, but nonetheless, we're here. We're going to make it happen. We do have the moderator in the house, or moderators in the house, but our captain, if you will, moderator will be your humble but professional and always on point moderator Unknown Zero. So please adhere to the rules of engagement. Welcome to our panel, the engineer, I think that is, the Bringineer. There we go. All right. And Tobias Bay is back with us. So grateful for you being here and sharing your time with us. Can't wait to hear what you have to share. Lion is in the building. All right. Our great, one of our great supporters and pillars. All right. So the last one, Terry Camp says the last one that I got. Okay. Y'all having a conversation. All right. And we have one more slot in the panel. So if anybody wants to join us, I'm definitely looking forward to Lux joining us. He's been missing in action the last, I think, couple times. But welcome to everybody. We will read the questions in the comment section on TikTok. We'll try to keep up on that so we can answer the questions. If you have them, feel free to put them in the comment section. All right. With that being said, please continue the conversation. Let me know if we have any audio or video quality issues. Thank you.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing all right.
Horizon.
Yeah, great day to everyone. And with that said, are we ready to get back? Yeah, we can go back. Okay. Well, with that said, I don't know if you had a answer for that. So technically was when the birth certificate we talked about a lot, and we know it holds the legal title and the equity title. Now, based on other researchers, so when you have both of those titles, you technically have a Lodio title. And I was asking, are we able to operate mixing the private and the public? Has the Lodio title, and would that be making an estate? Would that be like would that be where an estate comes in to have an estate? Would an estate would be like, technically, is an estate like operating under a state? Is it like operating under a Lodio title? Meaning public and private are mixing together. Good.
Yeah, well, you're never supposed to mix public and private. I don't think there's an exception to that. Until the people that created the government, which is the public, right? Government, public is government, government is public. So until the people terminate the trust, decide that they no longer want that government, they're supposed to always stay separate. The gig is up if you mix them together. I gave the analogy yesterday at our live that if you basically refuse to play your role in society, you refuse to wear the mask, the legal persona, and you show up to the performance or the stage play, that you will disenfranchise the audience, and they'll be like, we paid $150 for this ticket, and your actors are refusing to even get into costume, and so they'll be pretty upset, right? They'll be disenfranchised, in other words, and they'll be like, I want my money back. It may cause a lawsuit or something to happen. Okay, so this is why you don't mix public and private. Your private has to do with your natural rights as an individual. What you do in your home stays in your home, and what have you. That's where you can take off your public mask that you were given. And so if you mix the two, it would be like divulging the secret behind everything. You would basically terminate the mystique of the legal realm if you mix the public and the private together. You can't come in asserting your individual rights as a citizen of a state. You can't come in asserting constitutional rights in certain aspects when you're in the courts of the state, because the state itself is sovereign. So, you have to win in Rome, as the saying goes, win in Rome. You have to do what the Romans are doing. And we're in Rome. And so, yeah, you can never mix public and private. To do so is, if I could do a demonstration, I gave you how the certificate of live birth is created in the hospitals and physicians' handbook. They go over it, that the upper part, there's an upper part to the live birth certificate, and then there's a lower portion. And the upper part is for legal purposes. It is the legal title where the legal name is embedded or affixed. And then the lower portion is the medical and health information of the actual natural human that was born. And that makes up this birth, record, if you will. And so when they're together, it's after the order of, let me put it this way. In order to create a trust, okay, there needs to be a bifurcation of the titles. That's the legal terminology. What that means is to separate the legal title from the equitable title. Okay, and that's how you create a trust, because you give the legal title to the trustee, and you would give the equitable beneficial title to the beneficiaries. And so there's a separation of those titles. Well, on the certificate of live birth, what you know is certificate of live birth, but they actually call it the live birth certificate. You'll notice that it is also separated. Okay, they even say, they give them two different legal terms. The upper part, that's matter of factly the terminology they use for the live birth certificate, and then they say the lower portion. So that is in itself a distinction being made between the two titles. Okay, if you separate them, the legal title goes to the trustee, and the one listed on the bottom, I don't want to say it because I don't want to conflate an ideology and then get everybody confused, but it deals with equity. I'll just say the equitable title. All right, with that being said, hopefully that brought clarity. Go ahead.
So yeah, thanks for that answer. Is there anyone else on the panel want to add? I noticed you said something in the chat, Tobias, about it's called double-minded. Did you want to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, when they start saying that you're being double-minded, they're telling you you're mixing public and private. So they do have some rules about it. He just broke it down, but that's what double-minded means. When that's basically a way of saying that you're mixing the public and the private issue.
Yeah, and thanks for that explanation from both sides. But also what I'm asking, is technically, because at one point it has to meet, for all this game to exist, at one point the private and the public has to meet. And I was asking, is it possible to make it meet at the estate, or is it at the estate that you make it meet? And yeah, that's technically what I'm asking, because hereby one of the definition of a state is technically the corpus of property, So the body of a property, but also body has so many meanings. But one of the meanings for body is like almost a body for a body, which is kind of like corpus delicti, but in another way saying like you can only, claim a body if someone took a body, But the point I'm saying, I'm getting back to the body part, because the body is where, the body is technically the property, or let's say the body and the energy is technically the property, or not the property, is the gift to the spirit for the spirit to experience earth. So based on that concept, they do meet at one point, and where they meet is where the spirit is the owner of the body. So I'm saying, is the estate where will be the deed or the document or the entity where you could have the private and the public together before sending the public, because the public is technically my physical face and the private is like my veins inside that you don't see. But they're together every day. But anyway, I don't want to say much, but I think I gave enough example. But it's technically asking, is the state, or can someone at the state mix the private and the public together?
Like, in what sense are you talking about? Like your estate or their estate?
Well, just making your own estate, like, just by making your own estate and based on the definition of the corpus of a property.
Yeah, of course. A corpus can be anything, anything of value that you put into the trust. But the mixing comes in. Your estate is, your trust is private. What you're doing is your trust is controlling the businesses, and that's how you're interacting with the public to hire employees, pay workman's comp, have salaries and taxes and all of that. Your trust and assets are separate from that. The business is just an asset of the trust. But the trust is private, the business is public. But the business can own shares of that trust. That makes sense. That's what I was talking about for you guys that were on the live last time, is setting your structure up so that your trust is actually on the board of your business and they own all the shares and they control the business, but it interacts with the public. Like when you start hearing them talk about transmitting utilities or bringing your private money forward to the public, that's fancy words for the basic setup I was talking about.
Knowledgeable YouTube, can you hear clearly? I want to make sure that you can hear good.
Mike went off, Courtney.
Yes, I was talking secretly behind your back, TikTok.
Sorry.
I was talking to the YouTube.
You were talking to yourself.
No, I was talking to the YouTube. Nice try. So moderator, Unknown Zero, for this, I would just say we don't want to mix public and private. If you do that, it defeats the whole purpose of government, the legal order, all of that. It just defeats the whole purpose. I'm not sure where you're wanting to go with that. I'm really not sure which direction were you trying to. What are you trying to establish, or what do you want to? You know what I mean? Like, because you're not.
Just like knowledge, just more knowledge
Okay.
on like if there is a realm. So technically, it's a realm for the spirit. And I guess not trying to make it too far away. But because in the form, in the long form, right? You just saying the legal title on top, and the bottom you have the equitable title, correct? So in the long form itself, you already have, they're both together because they're both in that form. You got the upper part, the lower part, but they're still in one form. So that form alone,
Yeah, but
is an example in a way of both of them together in one paper.
but they're not. But they're not. They're not, because I know some of you are familiar with the four corners of a document, right? So when they draw boxes around them, that legally, remember, this is their realm, construct, legal construct. So they know what this represents. They know what this means. There's a reason why on one document you have boxes around paragraphs. I mean, you just got to know that. They don't do anything by mistake. It wasn't like somebody was typing and was like, I think a box would be pretty around this paragraph. That's not what was happening. They're there for a reason, and it depicts the distinction that is made between the upper part and the lower portion. They even give it two different terms. Normally, we wouldn't talk like that, would we? We wouldn't say the upper part and lower portion of this page. We would just say it's one page. Read both paragraphs. The first paragraph and the last paragraph. That's how we would talk normally. So that you got to know if they're saying upper part and lower portion of the live birth certificate, that they're doing it for a reason. And they know what that reason is, even if you do not. You see what I'm saying? It's not the one and the same. On that paper, it may appear that it is on one sheet of paper, but there are two different instrumentalities recognized under the legal order on that one sheet, if you know what I mean.
For sure, I hear it. Then, based on those answers, then I can conclude then it happens back at the social security number. Then,
What happens?
well, what's technically happening at the social security number is that the whole, the body, the whole concept to make a estate, you get an EIN, correct? To make a corporation, you get an EIN from the social. But if you go back to the roots of it, it's always going to come back to the social. So I guess the social security kind of would be that middle point. I'm talking about the middle point where you're navigating between the public and the private. So to navigate in the private, with your social, you make an EIN. To stay in the public, you use your social and you're in the public. You get what I'm saying? So the social is that allodial title. Just based on the meaning, that means it's operating in the neutral realm, in the middle of both.
So you're assuming that there's a purgatory, is what you're saying.
Well, no, I'm assuming the reality of it is that there's still going to be a neutral part. Because in order to have, let's look at the electron, right? Electron and proton. And in the middle, you got your neutrons, right? So in order to have the public and the private, you must have a middle point. You have to have something that's separated. And that realm also exists. That realm has a name. And I was asking questions, see if we could bring knowledge about that realm. Or maybe that realm is kept private.
No, I think.
Based on your answers, I was like, maybe it goes back to the social. But go ahead, my fault.
No, I think that. I think you're talking about what I call the bar that has the bar keepers and all that kind of thing. I think that's what you might be alluding to. Remember, I draw it on the board and I say, here's the natural and here's the artificial and here's the private and here's the public and here's human and here's artificial person. Well, that middle ground would be what you're calling middle ground would be the bar, and the barkeepers sit at the bar. That's the depiction. That's the understanding. Their job is to keep the humans on the natural side and the artificial on the artificial side, and anybody that trespasses or transgresses that bar, they're going to cite you, they're going to imprison you, they're going to, put you into debts, et cetera, et cetera. That's, I think, what you're talking about, I think.
So basically, right, the birth certificate, right? When we talk about the birth certificate, you said there's a legal title, there's a credible title on that, right? Is that the birth certificate is it like that for the whole people in the whole world? You talking about everybody on the world got the same? I'm not talking about the same birth certificate. I'm talking about the same way, like the legal on top, the other portion on the bottom. Is it the same for everybody?
Well, I would say that any country, how should I say, that has not been bothered by the Western ideologies, the United States system, American jurisprudence, and whatever, which there are hardly any left, right? We've set up military bases in all different countries around the world. And remember, we were the world currency, right? As far as, the U.S. currency. So we're pretty much everywhere. There's only maybe a few countries, allegedly Russia, China, and, that have remained chaste, pure, have not, you know what I mean? So to answer your question, a lot of them have co-opted and learned of our systems. Their diplomats have come over here and sat in closed door meetings and what have you, and learned a lot and done business with and interloped with. The Bible talks about the great Babylon, the great whore. Essentially that, well, what is a whore? It's one that intercourses with everybody else. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I would say a lot of these systems are used in one way or another in other countries. To answer your question, yes, but it may not look identical. I mean, you come from, I believe, the Haiti, yeah. So your birth certificate or whatever document they have for recording of your birth may not look. I don't know. Is it in the same format as the one here?
I have to take a look at it, but I think like you said, probably there's probably two portions of it too, because I think the top portion says something else, but when you keep reading it, it looks different. But I gotta take a second look.
Yeah.
To see if it's the same.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, take a look and let us know. Take a look and let us know. All right, go ahead, Unknown Zero. I gotta wake my mouth up.
Oh, for sure. And thanks for everyone for being on the live. Like always, we appreciate it. Let's have fun. Let's learn. That was it for a question. It was technically, I guess, I'll do some more research too. But based on the other research I made, I think so. If the social is the gray area, but all those that bar area. Is that under, I guess, the feudal system, the FEUDAL system, which is all about paying fines and fees under Lord Temporal, I think Lord Spiritual, and there's a Lord of the Commons, something like that. Is it under that realm, or is it just fiduciary, where it's just the trustees?
All right, so you're saying the birth certificate is it under the feudal system? Is that what you're saying?
No, the bar that you're mentioning, because now that you mentioned the bar is the middle ground, that means at the bar they still have to see the matter of, or they still gotta make the separation between. Oh no, this is public, this is private. That means they still gotta look at it, and by looking at it, they still gotta follow a principle of rules. So that bar, I was asking you, which system is it under? Is it under the feudal system, where that system is about managing the fees, positive laws, but it's also looking at the fees and, fees technically.
Well, I mean, yeah, so let me see here. Maybe if I draw it out. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me? All right, so, oh man, that marker's dead. Where are my markers? Who has taken my markers? Yeah. Trying to find a nice black marker here. Dag-nabbit. Hold on. Oh, hold on. All right, so yeah, it's important to understand, and I don't have any markers. I mean, I have a red one. Can you see this? Nope, you can't. I have a green one. Can you see this? Probably not, huh? Hold on. I had a nice black one. Yeah, the bar, they sit at the bar. We know that. We hear that all the time in the courtrooms.
Yeah, we can see the red one anyway, bro.
You can?
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know why nobody's saying nothing, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
All right, so you got public. There's your bar. And you have private.
Yeah.
Okay, you can.
Everybody needs to understand this is gonna be backwards because this camera.
Yeah,
right?
it's backwards.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
But it's because his camera's backwards. Yeah, he's got the. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see. Goodness gracious.
Bro, I love you, man.
All right, here we go. I don't even know if this is gonna work. Hold on.
There you go. Yeah. You gotta flip it around. Now turn the camera the other way. Yeah, I see your screen now.
All right, let me see what I can do here. One moment.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Right system.
Oh wow. right, you feel it?
Yes, sir. You're good now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, perfect.
All right, I'm gonna try and line it up here.
Yeah, see if you can zoom in some on that screen on your whiteboard because it's kind of tiny. Yeah, see if you can zoom in on there. Yeah.
All right. Hold on, y'all. I'm so tired of being.
I see it now. Yeah, I see it now.
All right.
Yep. Public.
They got you.
All right. I don't know if it's blasting out or what, but I can't. I don't think I can really zoom in. But y'all can see this now.
Yeah, that's good. Just move the mic a little to the left. Just the mic.
Don't be talking about my mic. All
There
right.
you go.
Or does this show up better?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, let's do that. So we got public. I'm gonna make you dizzy with this one. Private. Okay. There's the bar. This is where the attorneys, I argue, sit at the bar. Okay. So you got your. You can see down here.
Yeah, we could see it.
All right. So this is the bar keepers. Okay, and we learned and dispelled said myth that bar means the British accreditation, whatever they claimed it meant. I don't think it's showing up too well on my Knowledge Well Media YouTube channel, but what can I do? You know, let's see. Let's go with this right here. So you got the bar keepers that sit here. Okay. All right, so public and private. Now you can fill in everything else you want. Human, well, so the public will be where the government is, the state, you know, abbreviating government, the state, artificial persons, period, right? They would all be over here. Okay? So that means whatever's over here, the opposite is going to be over here, right? So whatever the opposite of government, public, private, I don't know, village, I don't know, whatever you would want to put for private. The state, artificial, obviously it would be humans over here. I know people are going to say that the legal definition of human is a monster. Yeah, whatever. You're never going to win that one. So a lot of the outdated definitions and stuff don't apply. You just got to kind of, okay. Anyways, humans, what else would be over here? Natural law, we can say, holistically, natural law, as opposed to over here would be positive law, man-made law, enactments of a duly authorized legislature, what have you, okay? But the point is, the question is about this bar. What separates the light? I should have flipped this around. I like putting the natural law on this side, but so humans, what separates the light from the darkness? What separates the unalived from the living, right? What fellowship hath light with darkness is the way the scripture talks about it. The corporations are the artificial persons or unalived bodies, right? We know corpse. The movie They Live with Ryan Piper from the 80s, I believe that was. That's what they were depicting. Everybody should watch that. It's a great Sunday afternoon movie to watch. And you can see it with different eyes now, because that's what they're trying to say. You know, you can see the corporation, the unalived bodies. You had to put on the goggles in order to see it. But the fact of the matter is there is a distinction. Now, Unknown Zero was asking about this gray area, or you said this in-between area where the public and the private meet. Well, that's all you have right there, right? There's someone that sits as the gatekeepers, or AKA bar keepers, bar members. That's what they do. That's their job. That's why they specialize. They bring you. What is the legal term attorn mean? Anybody ever look that up? It means to.
Can you write it down? Say it again.
Yeah, the legal definition of the term. I don't know what you can see. torn, as in a tourney. This is the root word right here, a torn.
I'll look it up while you give the definition, and I'll just read it after.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, so you're gonna find, and he's gonna second it when he finds it. But I'll just tell you, it means to hand one over or to exchange someone. So the attorney is handing you over. It can take a human being and essentially grandfather the human into the legal order, into the public, and represent that human. Represent. Why is it necessary for you to be represented? What's wrong with my first presentation, in other words? What do you mean you need to represent me, right? But that's what they specialize in, right? Because why? Because as a citizen, right, you've put on a legal persona, a legal mask, because humans cannot be, here's a term that you should really look deeper into. Humans cannot be recognized. There's more power in that term than meets the eye. There's that again, right? Remember, like, what did I say the other? Okay, whatever. Means to do something again. Okay? And what are they doing again? Cognizing. Or they're taking cognition or authority or changing the power or the ability or capacity that you once had into something else. Becoming like reacquainted, coming back as something that you were not, coming back as something completely different. So you're being represented, there's the term, represented by the barkeepers so that you can become recognized under the public side. That's the transition. That's the skinny, if you will. That's what's happening. So when you're making these arguments and saying, well, you know, how do they have the right to do this to me? And I never signed a contract to do this. It was my parents that did that. You're failing to see the game, the setup. There was a recognition, a translation, or a transfiguration, if you will, right? They say Yeshua was transfigured and taken up into heaven to be seen no more, or something to that effect. That was a transfiguration, right? That's what's happening here, okay? Because a human cannot go into the underworld. This is the land of the corpse, the artificial persons, the states, the governments, the legal, commercial entities, okay? You don't belong there. So you must put on a mask. That mask, please mute yourself before you relieve yourself. Anyways, that mask, what are these, it must be Blooper Sunday or what bloopers. All right, so, yeah, getting back. We didn't need that mental picture, by the way. Yeah, the human puts on a legal persona for recognition. In other words, if you were, I used this analogy before, if you were invited to a masquerade ball, right? That's all about obfuscating or hiding the human face, obscuring it from the party goers. Because the goal is to not be able to know your human side. We don't care what you look like at this particular point in time. You know, we want you to play the game. We want to recognize you. We know what you look like under the mask ordinarily, but for this one night of the year, we're going to forget what about your humanity, your natural law rights included, in order to play the game. And that's what's happening in the state.
Yeah, and everybody needs to understand that when you walk in the courtroom, the local courtrooms, they're all work for the state. Everybody in there is against you. Whether it's what's your attorney, whatever. It doesn't matter. They all work for the state. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. That's a strong. Everybody's acting in a legal capacity, and you're the only one. I'm just gonna I'm gonna interpret what you're saying in a much more user-friendly way. Okay.
Okay.
So
Sure.
Right, because we're.
I love you, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, because we're. Do I even use the term woke anymore? I don't know what to say anymore. But we're more in the know. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So we're no longer. Please mute up. Please mute. I'm getting some feedback. Okay. So we're no longer having to run from the system. Not us. We know the game now, right? Especially if you've been around here. We've been teaching this for a minute now. So you're not running anymore from the game. You're not trying to be elusive, or evade. We don't have to. Morpheus told Neo in the movie The Matrix, what are you telling me? I can dodge pew-pews, And Morpheus said, no, I'm telling you, when the time comes, you won't have to.
Hey, bro, I apologize. I got a dip, man. My boy's going on live, and we're going to talk about something different, all right?
All right.
I love you. Love everything you do. Keep up what you're doing, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll see you next time. Okay, so yeah, the point is that you shouldn't have to evade or run from the system, the agents of the system, et cetera, because you now know that there's a distinction here anyways. Those agents are public officials in a public capacity. They're not supposed to be able to come over here themselves. So why would you need to run? And in fact, this bar is also after the order of, every time he got plugged into the chair in the Matrix, right? He'd get plugged in and he would go into the underworld. And then they would rescue him by unplugging him. Please, hurry up, get him out, right? The agents are going to get him. So they unplug. So he go back into this realm. You see what I'm saying? So this is what they're depicting. So you don't have to fear the agents of state and all that kind of stuff. They're just doing their job. They're just the barkeepers are just keeping their, everybody's doing their business. They're acting in their capacity on this world stage. The world is a stage. It's all a play. Okay? If you take it too seriously, I always say it will seriously take you. Then you got people that are doing acts of domestic, right? Knocking down things and setting things ablaze and doing all kinds of stupid stuff because they're taking it too serious. So okay. So I hope this is making sense. A recognition has taken place that gives the public power. You chose, your mom chose, somebody chose to get you a legal persona and mask so that you can wear. Why? So that you can be recognized into this underworld system. This is supposedly your remedy, the barkeepers. Or you can learn the rules to the game yourself, right? And be sui juris or whatever they say, right? Act on your own behalf and on your own right. But they encourage you strongly to employ one of these barkeepers who are supposed to be like a referee. They keep things allegedly fair or equitable, right? If you hire them. If you don't, then you're on your own, but you better be legally competent. You better know the law because ignorance of it is of no excuse, as you know. All right, let's go ahead back to the panel.
Thanks for that detailed answer. Now, there's someone who requested. For some reason, I can't see I could only see the notice someone requested, but I can't see who requested. I don't know if you want to check real quick and invite them on stage.
All right, hold on.
Whoever requested, just put one in the chat, and I'll know who it is, and I'll invite you up. But yeah, thanks for that detailed answer. I want to give a chance to other people to ask questions. I've been asking a lot of questions, and I think you went in a lot of details. We can always come back to it. So anyone in the panel, want to feel free. I know Tobias, you haven't said nothing in a while. I'll give you a chance. If you want to go ahead and give your explanation as well, on the separation between the public, the private, and the bar in the middle, like Knowledge was talking about, or that middle part, you know, because I definitely have some other stuff I like to say, but for now I like to hear other people talk. So go ahead, Tobias, and let's hear your if you're available, or anyone else, you know, let's hear your detail on this topic.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good detailed breakdown. He kind of covered it, so I don't really have anything to add to it. I agree with what he was talking about.
I agree.
Well, I want to talk because I want to talk about public and private from a perspective of a citizen or a perspective of a single parent, a single woman who raised 3 children. Public and private is key. And you have to understand that under the public auspice, the public has an obligation to provide access because the state has been given that level of authority to ensure adequacy happens. But yet and still, you must understand if your state is not including you, or you're not included in the measurement of the maintenance of effort, then it's not going to change for you. And so here we are, living in America as a people. We understand compliance. We understand if you fail to comply, being this color, you don't make it. And you might not make it anyway, simply just because we are the harvest. So a state has an obligation, it's a basic obligation to create equal access. That is the law. And the law of the land is the Constitution. The 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment of the United States Constitution has happened, and they don't have to honor it because we're not holding them accountable. And as we continue to grow, understand you can't put the sleeping dragon back to sleep. It means that we are aware, and this next fight is all about resources, and I'm not there, and neither are you. You're disciplined, and you're determined to ensure that people understand that there is definitely a defining line between public and private. And private means that it's your dollars in your pocket and you're controlling the game. And Microsoft said, human capital, bing, bing, bing. And we didn't pay attention. Now we are in the fights for our life because I'm not going back. Liberty and justice for me. That's what I said the Pledge of Allegiance for. Liberty and justice. And thanks for letting me come up.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the majority of what you said. I don't know if you were talking more on like the issue of the race issue and all that kind of stuff. I don't. If you did, you know, convey something on those lines, I personally don't believe that that's any longer a bar. And again, you might not have even meant to state it that way.
No, because you need to understand, you know, the Biden-Harris administration came in and they said all 3-year-olds will be enrolled in a public option, an educational option. Well, not all states moved on that. Just like when Obama was in office, he said every child should succeed. And if they don't graduate at the 8th grade level, he's addressed the dropout. And so he wanted them to have 2 years of training. He wrote this in, you know, the education policy that he left behind. And you have to understand every president has an option to write policy and it becomes law because that's the president at the time. Well, what's his name? Baby Bush, he said that states would not recognize the wrongdoing if the people did not stand up and demand adequate access. Well, it's difficult for our people to come up and show up because we don't really understand what is it, that Floyd case up there and Ahmaud Arbery, and you just go through life understanding that certain people, as soon as they showed up, they were shut down. And even when we're talking about Malcolm and Martin and Medgar, and then understand what happened to Nipsey and what he was doing in that community, how he was building capacity and making so many people more independent, but then understand that he too was limited. And we're all limited. You can only do what you do based on, you know, all right, so when I came up, there are policies that are applied to me as a user, and I know that. And quite frankly, I don't care. I'm going to work around those policies and still stand and still share the message. Empowerment comes from self. And you're on your journey and I am on mine. You have to continue to do what it is you do. And hopefully we connect together and make a difference. But this is America, and every state has a different constitution. but every state has to live to the United States Constitution of America, which gives me the ability to stand in this room with you, no matter where you are. We're across the world. But thank you so much for letting me. I'll back out now.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for your opinion. I appreciate that. Anybody else want to chime in?
Yes. So I think basically, man, the public and private is a key to success. It's a key to success. The reason I said that, if everyone follow the steps, what you just did, that's a big remedy. It's a remedy, like, can save a lot of lives. And, you know what I'm saying, if we're not ignorant enough, we can make move, we can be success at it. That's my point.
Yeah, knowledge is key, but application of that knowledge is power. Okay, that's the way I prefer to say it. Just knowing is not power. Application of what you know becomes power. So yeah, a lot of these issues are brought on through ignorance. Whether that was your mom filling out the birth certificate worksheet in ignorance, or grandma, or whoever did it, whether it's in contract law, whether it's in your failure to obtain or maintain even a trust, all of that is because, of ignorance. 97% of United States citizens find themselves without a corporation. Again, ignorance. It's about what you know and what you don't know. That's the key. Or you can blame it on, race, gender, sexuality. You can blame it on that, but I contend that those are merely distractions in today's world. And these are the tools that are used by certain people in high places, right, to distract you, to keep you engaged so that you're not focusing on the things that really matter. That's what I contend. If they can get to us emotionally, then that's more than half the battle. Unknown Zero, I don't know if you want to take any questions out of the comment section, but let me know.
Sure, let me see if I find any questions.
Just please continue to tap the screen. Let's set a goal of 20K. Our initial goal, 20K. Please tap the screen if you want to keep the conversation going. Knowledge Well Media YouTube. Hey, can you do me a favor, TikTokers, if you would? I would greatly appreciate if you would help me with my subscription base over at my YouTube channel. Help us grow, help us with our metrics there. If you could take a moment just to slide over, look me up, Knowledge Well Media YouTube channel, and just subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can also have that. We can have that cross marketing. Also, likewise, Knowledge Well YouTube, if you would do us the solid of going over to our TikTok channel and following us and tapping the screen a few thousand times, that'd be great. Appreciate you. We're live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time right here, at least for now. I am considering, just to take a little break, I am considering starting earlier, at least maybe 9 a.m. on Sundays, or 9:30, somewhere around there on TikTok, to because we tend to be on TikTok for a multiplicity of hours, whereas Knowledge Well Media YouTube, I don't want to keep that going for over an hour, really. That would be ideal, because people ain't really going to watch it if it's that long. So I would have to cut the feed at Knowledge Well. So I'll probably still keep that at from 11 till 12-ish. And then we'll continue at our TikTok, and then Knowledge Well Media YouTube. You can join us over there. All right? So just a couple of announcements. Go ahead.
I was listening. I was still listening. My fault. I didn't know it's on mic, but so far, I'm just seeing comments in here. Since I had a question on the topic, unless anyone else on the panel have a question, and also thanks for being on the panel. I know Darlene, you just spoke. Dewan, Or would you like to speak real quick on this topic? And the engineer, would you also like to speak on that? And I think you already spoke on that line.
Yeah, I just want to say everybody needs to do your own due diligence, basically. It's an easy process. I'm going to help a lot of people out. People have gotten jobs just because of this. And all I'm saying, it ain't too much to get done. Artificial trust is different from private trust. And that's what people got to realize, that proper preparation prevents poor political performance. So if you ain't doing the proper work, then you always going to fail at what you trying to do. And what we have to realize is trying is not enough. We've been trying since birth. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get in this, like I was saying in the comments, you know, the UBOT, it's called a UBOT, but it's basically, it stands for, you know, Unincorporated Business Organization Trust. And this is why you don't really need a Social Security number, because basically that's the mark of the beast that they talk about in the Bible. And you got to know what the Bible is talking about, because it's telling you how to live. But it's talking about it in parable. So a lot of people won't understand it, and that's why they got coordinates. Coordinates will teach you what the numbers mean, or the words in this Bible. And basically, you know what I'm saying, all this on this world come from the Bible. These are God laws. The private act is God laws. It's God-given rights. So everybody, you know, like she was saying, everybody got the right to do the same thing that this government doing. But the reason why that you fail is because we used to basically dependent, not independent. We used to depending on the government, which is using your Social Security number. If you knew the laws, it'll help you a whole lot better. You know, because you become, like I said in the comments, this is a big responsibility for everybody, not just me. And it's a whole lot of paperwork. So now, you know, just because you get $100 million, you know what I'm saying, bond, don't mean that you gonna see that money. You still got work to do after you file this process. So it's just, you know, a lot of people like, I wish I can tell y'all his name, but he just done it. I did it, and this is off due diligence work. You know what I'm saying? Doing your own research, going door to door. Now I have well sites I never had before. The people that I went through, which is Sovereign, they got a Sovereign connection. Basically, it's $60 a year. Nobody else is giving you this type of opportunity. You know, the government never gonna do it. The people that you vote for never gonna do it. They do that shit for them. You feel me? So, you know, the only reason why I tell people this, because I'm not a politician, but I'm a Republican. I'm an American nationalist. And what I'm telling y'all is, you would rather be that, especially if you got a big dream, you would rather want to do shit by yourself. Because if the government think you dependable, which is using your Social Security number, that's being dependable. If they think you that, they think you broke. Why? Because they the ones that are in debt. They 35 trillion in debt. And if you don't believe me, you can look on the U.S. It's the USDebtClock.org. You can look on that and see the debt. So when you're a part of the U.S. citizen, that basically make you a part of the U.S. debt. So I was a U.S. citizen, but when I filed this, I became a nationalist. You know, I can travel anywhere. They got a world passport that you can get, a private tag that states the laws on these stickers that you can stick on the back of your car, because registration is the mark of the beast too. Whatever you doing with your name, all they need is your signature on their paper. That makes it a contract. So now it's making it for y'all, which is a beneficiaries. If you haven't filed this, you a beneficiary of your trust. Now tell me how, you know, you're going to be a beneficiary. You the king and you become a priest when you file this. So why do a king need the government to take care of their responsibility? Or a queen? That's what you got to realize. You more than what you think you are. And that's every single person that was born on this soil, this land, because you own it. And if you don't take it back, which is letting these folks predict or dictate what happens to the United States, and people gotta know they real history, man, because there's a lot of things that they flipped and made parable out of our, certain people history. I'ma just say that. Because me, I don't look at color. All I see color when I walk outside and see nature. Because a lot of us don't take care of what we got and ungrateful for what we have, so we don't see what we really can get or what we really already got because God gave it to us. So all I'm saying, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to close it with this, is you got to be the best person you can be. I don't care about what everybody else think or say. If the laws are there for you to use those laws, because that's all basically this trust is about laws. You get your own laws and constitutions with your name written into those definitions that the police got to read. You can find these police for the shit that they lock y'all up for today if you have ever been locked up. I have been put on child support. Now I'm not on neither of that because I'm not a part of the government. So it's just, when you file this, it's basically putting you above the government, making you over them. But these books teach, because I got four redemption manual books, and these are manual books written by judges, sovereign judges or lawyers. Because some people just like out here won't pick up no book, man, and that's the problem. That is the problem. So you can't say something to somebody that know or have done resources because you haven't done it yourself, and you think that your opinion is going to get by. I want to tell people this. Don't just listen if you don't know. Ask questions if you need them. You know what I'm saying? And don't waste each other's time, because this is something serious that this brother talking about. So we all gotta take it serious, because this is actually real. This is real life. Like my dad going through something right now. This ain't nobody business, but I'm gonna say this. He told me, he came to me and wanted this information, man. I didn't get nothing passed down to me. We didn't have nothing, but we stayed together as a family. The 6 Main. We brought people in as brothers, sisters. We've been doing this. So what I'm saying, y'all have the same opportunity to do this, man. Because it ain't about where you were born at or who were born in your house. It's about who you gonna get together with this information or this knowledge or wisdom.
Hey, real quick, D1, before you go, and thanks for sharing all that information, and we appreciate it. There's a question for you in the chat. User asks you, what did you mean by U-boat? U-B-O-T.
Oh, the U-bot. It's a U-bot. The U-bot is basically, it comes with your trust, but it's basically showing you how to use it, because certain things on it you will have to do private, and then the other things you will have to do public.
Your term technically is an algorithm, a bot algorithm to help someone manage their trust. That's what you're saying?
Nah, it's showing you yourself, you and your trustees, because they're gonna give you up to probably about how many? I think about 3 on the website, because I had them file it for me. So basically, I just had to fill out the application online, and then with my name. It's just certain things about this, like when you I got it in there, but like I say, my back camera don't work on my phone. I'm working on getting another one.
Don't get what the U-bot stands for, though. Like, what's the service or the purpose for the U-bot?
Oh, the definition of a U-bot is unincorporated business organization trust. That's what it means.
Gotcha.
So that mean you don't have to do no type of business with the government to get any money, and they can't stop you. You know how people be sitting on the side of the street doing their own little selling with carpets or things like that, food. They can't stop you from doing that even without a license.
So you're saying it's a structure protected by law for you to operate privately?
Yes, when you file, you are totally private unless you want to step back into servitude. Server means
without permission or approval.
All right,
let me knowledge. If you want to go ahead, knowledge.
Let me jump in. Excuse me. let me jump in on this conversation because our platform is to dispel myths and things that mislead people, and it's not my claim that you are Dewan. But I did take the time, as people should do, whenever they hear an assertion or a claim made. We got to go beyond just verbal discussion. We should look deeper into things. So I did take the time to look into what you called the UBOT, the Unincorporated Business Organization Trust. I went directly to the IRS.gov website, and the first thing that came up is abusive trust tax evasion schemes.
That's the thing about it, man.
Well, let me wait.
Realize that when you do things like that, they don't have that information because this are a sovereign private side. They ain't with this, bro. So you can't really believe in the government.
Yeah. Listen, yo, bro, we got you.
I'm doing it right now. You feel me? So I know for sure.
Hold up, bro. Damn, bro. Chill. You're good. You just spoke. Let knowledge make his research. Let him speak, and then after that, you could speak again, and you could, make your point and say all of that.
Understood.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, it says, and I pulled it up here on the YouTube, Knowledge Well Media YouTube, so you can see what it is that I'm looking up on the IRS.gov. Please mute your mics. Please mute your mics so we can do away with the background. Thank you. All right, so it says abusive trust tax evasion schemes. All right, this is from March 29th of 2024. It says this involves the transfer of an ongoing business to a trust, also called an unincorporated business organization. Okay? It says here, abusive domestic trust schemes. Domestic trusts are trusts created in the U.S. Here are some common abusive domestic trust schemes. So they say a business trust. This involves the transfer of an ongoing business to a trust, also called an unincorporated business organization, okay? A pure trust or a constitutional trust. Those are other terms that they are red flagging. It gives the appearance that the taxpayer has given up control of his or her business. In reality, through trustees or other entities controlled by the taxpayer, he or she will still runs the day-to-day activities and controls the business's income stream. Such arrangements provide no tax relief. The courts have held that the business income is taxable to the taxpayer under a variety of legal concepts, including lack of economic substance or the sham theory, assignment of income. So they're saying that it's still taxable to the taxpayer, or that the arrangement is a grantor trust. Okay, in some circumstances, the trust could be taxed as a partnership. Okay, and then they go over the different types of trusts that people are setting up. But I just wanted to go over that because they specifically mention the phraseology or terminology that you used in the UBOT. So what say you?
Go ahead, D1. Well, real quick, D1, someone in the channel, someone made a request to come on stage. I don't know if you could see it, BB or Knowledge. We could bring them up, or if you make a request, just press the, there you go, it was BB. Very good. Go ahead, D1.
Okay, so basically, a lot of that is true, but a lot of it, what they trying to say is basically, it's a way, if you're doing like partnership, that is taxable because the person that you're doing the partnership with can be taxed, or they are the citizen that is being taxed. So that's gonna bring it to you, because basically, you know, I got a secretary. My secretary is my lady. Basically, she just write paperwork and whatever. This is all you basically doing when you get this. So that's why I'm saying it's a big step. And both of that, you can be taxed if you step into the government lane again. So, you know, under the private act, they basically just telling you what to do if you do not want to be taxed, because you don't have to pay taxes, because this taxes is going to the military, which is supposed to be going to the elderly. But if you read, if you go do your due diligence on why this happened, you know, this person did some messed up things. So, you know what I'm saying, he was asking around how much these folks, what people were dying at, what age they was dying at.
All right, I'm gonna have to break in for two reasons. Number one is because we can't use the D word. You got to say unalived. That triggers the algorithm in TikTok, and we already have 2 strikes. The second reason is because we focus on dispelling myths, and we fact check things, and if there's no fact that we can actually, you know, tangible fact that we can use, then I don't want people here to take bits and pieces of this information and go out and do harm to themselves or someone else. So I try not to let, you know, have people putting too many ideologies out there, because then that defeats the purpose of this platform. There may be other platforms. I know there's a lot of other platforms that like to go into theories and legal remedies based on theory and all that kind of stuff. But here, yeah, and here our meter, I should say, our standard is, if there is no legally protectable interest in an assertion or a claim, then we just don't teach it. Meaning, I need to go into the law or statute or case law or something that has been established, that is recognized by the law or in the government, in order to know that it's valid in this current system. So that's kind of our meter, and so that's why I just want to pump the brakes on that. But you know, information is what it is. If anybody wants to experiment with that, you know, you can message Day1 if you choose to want to go that way. That's your choice. I don't stop. Yeah, I don't.
Harsh thing, so I'm not gonna talk about that one. But basically, that came out of the Ponzi scheme. Have y'all heard about that?
Yeah, yeah. But let's not go down that avenue right now. We go more into the legal personalities, the understanding of the system, wealth building, trust, establishment, those type of things. Yeah.
The U-Bot basically is no more money. It's not money over here. It's not, nothing is valuable but silver and gold. So that's basically what your birth certificate state filing number, which should be at the right hand top corner. If you, like, I'm in Region 5. I don't know where everybody, you know, live in, so I'm just going off my region.
All right.
But
understood, but we don't. Let's get Unknown Zero. Can we?
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I don't know where we are right now.
Right.
I feel like the info went all over the place. But
yeah, we talking about the U-Bot.
Yeah, but we're not anymore. So let's move on.
So I guess
if I can hop, go ahead. I'm sorry, brother. I was just gonna say, if I can hop in, this is some of the misinformation that's out there, and I know you might have just got it, Dewan. It doesn't work because it's how you operate that makes you private. So when you have a business, you went and got that EIN from the United States Treasury, the IRS, their arm of it. You have to pay taxes on whatever that is. The trick is the accounting when you under your trust. So I would suggest go study gift and estate tax law. Go read the whole IRM, really, So you understand how taxes and accounting works. They only want their taxes, but your trust privately can write off that if they were paying the business expenses for the business. It's a circle. It's a circuit. It completes itself. So yeah, the business is operating in the public. It needs to be insured in case it damages the public. And privately, you're paying for that business to operate, which gives you the right to write off whatever operating cost that it is that the business is incurring. And so the business might pay taxes, and there's ways to offset that without going too deep into that. But the trust is putting up the money for the payroll, for any expenses that the business has, etc. Whether it's incorporated or unincorporated, you're going to have to pay taxes. That is offset by your trust. That's how they're operating. But when you start throwing this birth certificate stuff in there, which if somebody can show me the Declaration of Trust for the United States and what the rules are, I'm all in. I haven't seen it. Nobody knows where this mysterious accounts are. No corpus for the trust. I mean, I just say it's an easier way to do it. And that way, that will keep you out of any kind of trouble or anything from you having a misunderstanding of how it's applied. It's what they're saying it is. And I get the thing that they're saying that there's no money. They just changed that money is not backed by gold anymore. So that's the only change. It's a new system. But me and you both are gonna go spend some money today. And them green bills you have in your pocket, like we got to get past that concept. It's a concept for you to understand how, when they say that it's no money, that you can, like what we talk about on the last live, you can have your business under a trust and write off all your expenses. That's when they're saying it's no money. It's a concept that they're trying to get you to understand. But what happens is people start thinking that literally there's no money. It's like a parable. So your parable is just a story. They're giving you a story for a concept of understanding how to operate your trust, your private trust, that you don't go put on the county record, that you hold all your assets in. You can have another trust over that, but wherever you're holding your assets at, that's private. That doesn't have a bank account. That doesn't do any commerce or anything. It simply is there as what they call a holding company. If you hear that, it's the same concept. You're just holding your assets in a trust to pass it down to the control of it, because you can't own anything. You're passing the control of that asset down to your heirs. That's it. It's really simple, man. It's not this big, deep concept. And but you have to throw out this birth certificate secret account thing until somebody proves it. They're not recognizing it, and that's just the truth. That's reality.
Yeah, I already know that. That's why I say I'm quiet for a reason.
Just be careful.
This is everybody.
Be careful dealing with that.
This ain't no serious thing. You feel me? But that's all I'm saying.
It can get serious though.
And that's how I know.
I only say it because I've seen people get hurt using the same thing that you're using.
That's because they ain't
that's
always
the only reason that
filed. They haven't filed all the paperwork.
This been going on for 60 years, and I've done that process specifically that you're talking about.
Right.
Real quick, just to add, so I guess this is going under, based on what I'm reading here under trust, I think what y'all talking about is a voluntary trust.
Yeah, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about an irrevocable trust.
Hear what I'm saying, though. Hear what I'm saying, because under the definition of a voluntary trust, it's technically saying an obligation arising out of a personal confidence repose in and on for the benefit of another, has distinguished from an involuntary trust, which is created by operation of law. So that was just talking about I guess a case where someone was contesting against that. But also it says here the difference between a gift and a voluntary trust is that a gift is the thing in itself with the title passed to the donee, while the voluntary trust, the actual title passed to a set streaker trust, while the legal title is retained by the settler to be held by him for the purpose of the trust. So technically, is also saying where, the legal title, where the title of the trust is passed to another trust, but the legal title is remained, I guess, in another trust by the settler, something like that. But also under that, you will find constitutional trust, and you'll find statutory law trust. So, based on what Knowledge was saying, I guess those are the trusts. The website was saying was the trust they were questioning. I think constitutional trust and those trusts.
Yeah,
I'll give y'all a website to get on so you can actually better understand it.
Well, I think we should move on from that because I don't think that's going to do anybody any good. It's not in alignment with the purpose of this platform. We welcome information. We even do debates on topics. But I would say that please mute your phone. Please mute your phone. Just giving feedback. Please mute your phone. Thank you. Yeah, I would just say we should just move on to something that's actually going to, build us and grow us. There are certain facts that have been established. There are certain lectures and things that I've given. I've used IRS.gov forums, the Social Security Administration forums, and what have you. And there is a way, as Tobias was saying, there's a much more simplistic way. Most of these things that we call ourselves knowing now are things that were practiced by individuals 10, 15, 20 years ago, as he was saying. And it's just coming back around again. It's just it's recidivism. It's just, it's just coming back around again. I'm noticing the teachings and things that I had when I first came in, I'm hearing now the youth are starting to pick these things up and try and run with them. So at some point, this is going to have to get weeded out. And more than likely, they're putting together agencies such as, 80,000 or so IRS agents who are now hired on, and they're going to be coming around and clean sweeping everybody that is, the IRS.gov that I just showed you just now is putting out a warning against the very thing that we found ourselves discussing. So it's like, why would we even further discuss that right now? It doesn't even make any sense to do. It's obviously something that they're red flagging and they're going to be in short order dealing with. I'm sure of that. With that being said, we would like to talk about more the simplistic way, the way that is time tested, the way that the elite that we know of, Donald Trump and all of them, the way that they do it. Why reinvent the wheel?
Excuse me, I'd like to speak on that for a moment.
Hold on. You interrupted me. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Sorry about that.
No problem. And so with that being said, there was a statement made in the comments section. Where was it at? By ArgFam, I think it is. He or she is saying, but doesn't that still keep you in their jurisdiction? So here we find ourselves back at the conversation as to whether we need to be trying to avoid their jurisdiction or not. And I mean, I guess this is going to be a common thing because people that are here this week won't be here next week, maybe, and vice versa. And, people that have been here in the past, there's new people joining all the time. So I get that. But here we're not attempting to avoid or evade the jurisdiction of the country that we find ourselves, a citizen of. Why? Because we get the game. The system has been extant or in existence for 250 years coming up here shortly. And it works. It's a capitalist system, though. That's what you have to understand, is that someone is going to capitalize on your ignorance. And what we've determined in the last couple lives is that a lot of us are just ignorant, respectfully so. And that ignorance is being perpetuated generation after generation, because if you had known about trusts, the most simple information regarding trusts and wealth preservation when you turned 18, you would be a multimillionaire right now, or you should be. If you had known about corporations and the power of the corporation and the capacity it gives you to have that in limiting liabilities, you would have impeccable credit rating right now. You would own lots of property, real estate, land. You'd probably have your own garden, farming, and all that kind of stuff if you knew. But the fact is we didn't. And as one person put it yesterday, it's it's the fault of the government for not teaching us or educating about these things. No, it's not. Let me tell you why it's not. It's not the fault of the government, because the government is a non-sentient. It's not sentient. It's not a living thing. It's not as far as a human living thing. It's non-sentient. It needs representatives to be the fingers, to be its toes, its feet, its mouthpieces, and what have you. So it's not the government that is the issue. It's the people in the government that are the problem. Okay? And so, no, the government didn't have an obligation to teach you the esoteric and occultic understanding going to trusts and wealth planning and strategy. Your parents were supposed to have taught you that. Now, you're going to say, well, they didn't know. They were never taught. Well, their parents were supposed to teach them, and so on and so forth, okay? So that's the way it goes. Donald Trump will teach Barron Trump the art of finances, the art of economics, okay? But if your family was too busy in the drug culture in the 70s, and it was all, sex and whatever, parties and, whatever it was, right? Protesting and whatever. That's what I meant earlier. Those are all just distractions. P. Diddy and baby oil is all a distraction. All of it is a distraction. All of Hollywood falling. Why does that matter for you and your family? Why does that matter? Is that going to pay your bills? Is it going to secure your legacy? No, but that's what we find ourselves engrossed in. We wake up and it's P. Diddy. We go to sleep and it's P. Diddy. You see what I'm saying? None of that has anything to do with your status, your standing in relation to the economy and wealth. It's all a distraction. I think we know that by now. Mike Tyson, 58 years old, fighting a 27-year-old, is all a distraction. That's what it is. And so I say that to say this in summation, that it's not the government's fault that you don't know these things. Now, for the sake of argument, all these books behind me, a lot of them incorporate information regarding estates, trusts, corporations. If I never pick them up, okay, and read them, I'll never learn what, holistically, comprehensively. If you depend on somebody else to teach you something, then they can meter and they can decide how much they want you to know. But they can't do that when you're reading out of a book yourself, okay? And so with that being said, hopefully that tracks well with everybody. I know it might be offensive, but the system is not the problem. We, the people, are the problem. All right? With that being said, go ahead, panel. Mac Bone, I think it is, or Bishop Mac Bone, I think you had something you wanted to say.
Yes, this is Blue Marvel 9, Matt Bone here. I just wanted to say that I started my journey of self-education when I was 22 years old. And the first books that I read were the Kybalion by Three Initiates, and also the Cliff Notes to an Ancient Future by Wayne B. Chandler, a black Qigong master. So when we look at the realms of law, there's actually three realms of law: universal, natural, and positive. Now, the ones that created this system, they are very familiar and expert in the 7 principles of truth, as dictated in the Kybalion by Three Initiates. The Three Initiates that came with this book were actually black men who were initiates of Pascal Beverly Randolph back in the early 1900s. Because if they weren't black, if they were white, you would know their names, basically. Now, I'm going to read from three references: the Bible, the Kabbalion, and the Black's Law Dictionary. Now, I'm going to start with the Bible first. In Ecclesiastes 7, verses 11 through 12, in the New Living Translation. Wisdom is even better when you have money. Both are a benefit as you go through life. Verse 12, wisdom and money can get you almost anything, but only wisdom can save your life. Ecclesiastes 7:19. One wise person is stronger than 10 leading citizens of a town. In other words, 10 politicians. Now, wisdom comes from two realms of law, universal and natural. Universal is higher dimensional law. Natural is the natural law outside of positive, which is in nature. So in order to understand the universal law, you must first understand natural law. Like it said in the scripture, how can you understand heavenly things if you don't understand earthly things? Said by the Christ of Nazareth. Now I'm going to read from the chapter called The Divine Paradox in the Kabbalion. It is important for you gentlemen to get those two books, The Kabbalion and Ancient Future by Wayne B. Chandler. Wayne B. Chandler explains into further detail the 7 laws of Dehuti. So we go like this. The half-wise, recognizing the comparative unreality of the universe, imagine that they may defy its laws. Such are vain and presumptuous fools, and they are broken against the rocks and torn asunder by the elements by reason of their folly. The truly wise, knowing the nature of the universe, use law against laws, the higher against the lower, and by the art of alchemy, which is mental, by the way, transmute that which is undesirable into that which is worthy, and thus triumph. Now, the biblical terms for transmutation is translation and transfiguration. If you read about the story of Enoch, Enoch was translated and was not, for God took him. In other words, Enoch changed his nature from a natural nature to a higher universal interdimensional nature. The same thing with Elijah. He got carried up into a chariot of fire, which was actually a starship, by the way. So, transmute that which is undesirable to that which is worthy, and thus triumph. Mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, visions, or fantastic images, or living, but in using the higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. Transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master teacher. So in order to understand this, when you look at trust and birth certificate, they are part of the realm of positive law. When you deal with the public, that is the realm of positive law. When you deal with the private, that is the realm of universal and natural law.
Very true.
Now I'm going to read the definition of, it's also important that you get the Black's Law Dictionary, the 11th edition, because they changed some things up. The 4th and 5th edition ain't going to do no good, seriously. They have changed some things up that you need to be aware of for 2024. Now I'm on the Black's Law Dictionary, page 1825. Voluntary trust. Number 1, a trust that is not founded on consideration. One having legal title to property may create a voluntary trust by one declaring that the property is to be held in trust for another. And 2, transferring the legal title to a third person who acts as a trustee. An obligation arising out of a person, competence reposed in, and voluntarily accepted by one for the benefit of another. Now, the thing about corporations are known as persons according to positive law. So you can transfer that deed to your property. That's how the wealthy are able to do the tax avoidance, because they have their property, which is also a trustee person in itself, pay for their luxuries. So guess what? A trustee can also be known as a corporation of property, because corporations are also persons as well, according to positive law and the public laws of commerce. Because the private deals with universal law and natural law, the public deals with positive law. So what you have to understand about this is how to use laws against laws, The only way you're gonna counteract positive law is with universal and natural law. Now the Luciferians understand this.
I gotta
they risk their children in this information.
Hold on, man.
Since they're 5 years old.
Hold on.
Okay.
I gotta interject there because.
Well, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, because if you said you have to use natural law to combat positive law, is that correct?
No. I'm talking about to balance and harmonize with the law. When it talks about using laws against laws, it's talking about a parallel. You know what I'm saying? In other words, to where the universal, natural, and positive don't be fighting against each other. They're separate, but the laws coalesce within yourself. There's a conflict of those laws within yourself. And like you said, you learn to resolve that conflict within yourself by educating yourself. And I started my self-education when I was 22 years old in 1991. I'm 55 now.
Real quick,
so
Bishop.
the first...
Real quick, Bishop. Yeah. Let's make it clear. So, knowledge, he's talking about the bar. So we're going back to the bar, back to the middle point of it. So now in your explanation, Bishop, you're describing the bar as the law.
Yeah,
and I guess
because there's 3 realms of law. Yeah. Now the 7 principles of truth, mental transmutation, and mental alchemy, those are the principles of universal law. Okay. Now when we talk about the law, the laws of nature, we talk about the laws of physics. Okay. Like gravity, energy is constantly ever changing. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Those are concerned in the natural laws, the laws of physics. Okay. Now, when we're dealing with positive law, we're dealing with the laws of commerce, the laws of trust, statutes, and codes of conduct in the public. Like the legal laws of driving, you are obligated to obey the laws of traffic, especially when you have a driver's license. If you don't fulfill your jurisprudence obligation in obeying the traffic laws, they take those driver's licenses away from you. You got to pay a fine because you interrupted that commerce in a public venue of traffic on the highway by driving against the law of commerce. Because the traffic, these public streets are venues of commerce, which is public. Now, in order to get the privilege, you must be in harmony and balance with positive law, with certificates of deposit and certificates of use. A driver's license is a certificate of use, the privilege to operate your own conveyance.
Real quick, Bishop, just to bring clarity, real quick.
Yes.
Positive law. Oh, go ahead. Someone was saying something. When you're saying positive law, because the way I get positive law is technically something that could be, or you have it back. That's fine, Bishop.
I'm sorry about that.
Very good. So when you're talking positive law, because positive law is something that could be enforced by either an army or a superhuman, right? But someone with authority that could back it up. So now, are you talking about jurisprudence? What governs the positive law and the relation between the positive law and the legal relations, and which is also one of the things I was going to ask you too about earlier, knowledge. Should we put another bar in the middle of public? Because I think that's the bar y'all talking about. And in that bar, we put jurisprudence, which is technically is governing legal relation on one side and positive law on the other side, which would be like the statutory laws and all of that, if you get what I mean. But it's also...
Now think about positive law. Okay. The thing about positive law is enforced by the military, by the police system, and by the judges through the jurisprudence of the court. Remember, the executive branch, the president, enforces the law through the military. Okay. Now, when we talk about the enforcement of what the judges make, those enforcements are enforced by the police, who will correspond with the jurisprudence of city, county, and state. Now, the police force that enforces the federal jurisprudence is that such as the FBI, Homeland Security, the Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and so on. Now, there's 5 branches of the military. There's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and there's also the fifth branch, which is intelligence. The intelligence agencies known as CIA, NSA, and DIA. The fifth branch of the military is intelligence agencies. So those five enforce international exchange of positive law. Like when the U.S. interests are going against overseas, that's where the CIA comes in. Now, when they deal with like international interests that are coming against this country, that's where NSA comes in. Now, when there's in connection with the military, that's where the DIA comes in, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
Hold on.
So
hold on.
Okay. All right.
Where are we going? What is the point?
Well, the point is, there's positive law, and then there's the positive enforcement of the law. Because there's laws and statutes dictate on how these forces can enforce the law.
Okay, where are we going with this?
Well, where I'm going is to explain how the mechanics of it works. Because once you understand the mechanics of how it works, you have an easier time using the positive law to your advantage without breaking it. Remember what we discussed, knowledge? Use the system to win in the system, right? By understanding, having the practical understanding of the mechanics of the law. In other words, how the law works in your life as you interact with the public. Because public is in the realm of positive law.
Okay,
For example, when you drive on the highway,
real quick, there's a question actually in the chat from Arvdown, and just to bring clarity, so I guess we're still talking about the middle point between the public and the private. Knowledge calls it the bar, which the law will fall, I guess, kind of under that. It does fall under that, but is the bar? You're calling it the law. You're saying there's three different. There's a universal. Then you mentioned there's a natural, and then you're saying there's a positive law, and you're talking about I'm kind of saying there's another bar in this whole picture. I think the bar y'all talking about is really in the middle of the public side between legal relations and positive law, and I guess that bar will call it jurisprudence. Now, the question in the chat from Arvdown was like, where does the General Post Office? Where's the bar for the General Post Office, or where does the post office fall under, or which bar does it fall? Where would you put the post office in the middle, the private and the public?
No, it's not.
The post office falls under the public federal part of positive law.
Let knowledge go first.
Okay.
No, you're good.
Sorry about that. All right.
So, it's an artificial person, right? Any construct, any man-made construct, all falls under the jural sphere, the legal realm, the realm of artificial persons, commercial entities. Anything that's not human, man, or natural from the earth, etc., it falls on the artificial side. White and black. Until the laws change, which more than likely due to AI and Sophia the robot becoming the first AI citizen of Saudi Arabia, there's going to be new laws written, because now you're about to bring a different type of entity. Please mute your mic. There's going to come a new type of entity on the stage. It's going to bring a little bit further complexity. Okay? So there will be new laws eventually. A new recognition of law. There probably are, in Saudi Arabia, like I said, they made the AI robot the first citizen of the country. So that means they're going to have to enact laws. What kind of rights are those AI robots going to have? Because they're going to belong to somebody. They're going to be somebody's property, at least in the beginning. And then who knows? Just like the slave history here, maybe eventually those AI robots, vie for more governmental protection. Then you got a whole nother situation. But later for that. I guess the point is, yeah, it's black and white when it comes to what's made by God and what's made by men. That's the overall consideration. Artificial versus natural. Go ahead.
I know Bishop, you're going to jump in, but real quick, I noticed Darlene also had some stuff to say in the chat. I don't know if you want to go ahead and just say it, Darlene, real quick. You said you're only talking about the state policies. Did you want to articulate on that?
So we all need to understand that we are 50-something states. Each state has a constitution as to how they operate within their state. We're all supposed to be working towards what? The Constitution.
Knowledgeable Media,
What's free and
YouTube,
appropriate,
I
that's what we
apologize.
did, right?
I had my mic off.
As I'm an American, comes with
We're going to go ahead and cut
a
feed.
certain responsibility for self. But
Appreciate you for
also
being here.
responsibility
Join us
for
over at the
state.
TikTok if you want to
And
keep the
as we're
conversation
talking about
going.
states' rights, and people don't understand that
If you want to get up on the platform,
well,
just put it in the comment
they don't
section
even
and we'll get you pulled up.
understand that the denial of human rights when children are young.
Things are a little bit
inhibits
different. We're
them
trying to
from
work out
participating as
the
citizens. And so
convergence of
therefore, if I
TikTok with
understand it, Thurgood Marshall said we needed to
with
focus
YouTube.
on
So please bear with us. We'll get it straight. But thank you for your patience and for being here. And we'll see you over at TikTok if you so choose to join us. I don't want to make these Knowledgeable Media YouTube recordings too long or lives. I'll try to keep them at about an hour. And then you can always jump over to TikTok. Okay? All right. Appreciate you. Now you've been made free. The question is, what are you going to do with it? We'll talk to you soon. Peace.